Well, I tend to work one location for a lot longer than I might usually show in my street photography videos. I mean, a lot longer. Like, I got into the habit a little bit of thinking you guys want me moving about all over the place, you just get bored. But what I want to explore is kind of aligning the channel more, as much as possible, with how I actually shoot. Okay, so hopefully it's still going to be on the balls of its feet. It's still going to be kind of what you used to. Hopefully is high energy, and I'm hoping I can bring a little bit more to the table. Okay, so let's jump into it. Okay, so here I'm pretty much shooting one street corner. I don't want to be just snatching shots when I'm out or hurrying in case someone clocks me, right? Someone spots me. Most people, when they're shooting street photography, I've seen it, they're moving the whole time and they're skimming the surface. I'll show you. But just under here, one picture of you.
Yeah, thank you.
If you stand here with the light is good. Thank you. Yeah, it's beautiful. This way a little bit, this way. Perfect. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, that's great. You're good at this. Perfect. And then one with the eye. One just like this with the eyes. Just like this. Glasses there. Oh, this way, this way. More. Eyes. Got it. Thank you. Do you want the picture? Okay, so I know, look, we're shooting portraits here. This is not like God's in the details type stuff. But the corner I chose here is pretty cool because you've got a kind of old retro feel to the shot. Lots of traffic, people passing by. There's an open shelter, so you can see where I'm shooting these portraits. The lid of the doorway, shop's closed. Always cool for portraits because it kind of traps the light. But the fact of the matter is, it's like, well, treasure's not found on the surface. We got to dig for it. Okay, so where are we now? There's this little alley. It cuts through pretty much the middle of Chinatown. I do like to pop my face into this alley every couple of weeks. It just traps the light in there. It's always quite moody. It's got a kind of like a Blade Runner feel to it. And you could be anywhere, right? You could be like New York. You could be somewhere in like, I don't know, Palermo in Italy. It's got that feel about it. Like I've been saying, the more time you spend in one place, the more the scene, it will reveal itself to you. Like staying in one spot, it can kind of shift your perspective. Like the deeper stories, like the real juicy stuff, it unfolds when you're shooting a single place location. Like having time in, it means you notice more. Like the, I don't know, what's the word? Like the undercurrent, the detail. Like what would usually otherwise go unseen, like subtle expressions, the pattern of light, fleeting interaction. For me, it's about mixing it up. So there are times, right, when being on the balls of our feet, especially like working. So here, I'm in Chinatown, okay? So I'll work one backdrop for 5-10 minutes, and then I'll shift to another backdrop. I'm also hunting portraits So sometimes I want a backdrop that's a little more curious, a little more light is an important part of that, especially with those close-up portraits. Sometimes you just need to grab the portrait, right? The person's kind of, they're not giving you the time. This guy here, for example. And then this couple here, I mean, it's a pretty cool couple, right? And I love the idea of quite a wide shot with these guys because they're both together. I love the case and it almost like creating a little bit of like a Wes Anderson feel to it. So it's not a method, it's not a one size fits all this shooting for me. And but I do anchor myself to what I've been talking about. Light is the most important thing for me, and I let myself down sometimes. I know how to source it, so I kind of get a little bit lazy. It's always a fighting against that. We've got to have fun, right? So that's important. Because street photography is just street photography, right? We're on the balls of our feet, and it is about having an energy and mixing it up. But if I'm out shooting for 2-3 hours, I would say I spend maybe 10-15 minutes shooting one scenario, one location, one backdrop, one light source, one composition. And sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's a lot longer than that. But sometimes it could just be like 5-10 minutes. Like Chinatown here, I'll work the streets a little bit. I have 2 or 3 backdrops that I may choose that day, maybe something I've kind of overlooked before, or maybe it's somewhere that I have shot before. That's important too. One of the things I do with parts of London, where it's familiar to me, is that I want to uncover more. Now, what is it I've not seen so far? And we can only do that by revisiting, repetition. Repetition's everything in photography. Like I said, most people, they're skimming the surface, but repetition is so important. So balance it out. And I shoot, like, one of the things I do, I shoot anonymously in plain sight. So if I'm hanging, or I'm anchored to one location for like a good period of time, and sometimes revisiting it, the people in the area get used to me too. So it makes it easier for me. They're more accommodating. It makes it easier for me to shoot. I have these like little agents everywhere, all over London. I'm not as great as that as I used to be, by the way. There are still parts of London where I can go and it's like people know me, and because of this attitude, it's kind of about having this in your creative tool bag, so to speak. We need to be thinking outside the box creatively. Which brings me to my zine, The Way of the Street Photographer. You can grab a copy on my website, guys. It's a real fun, juicy pocket book full of inspiration. I promise you're going to love it. Don't forget the Dare Photography podcast as well. Okay, you'll love that podcast. We keep it real. There's a few home truths on there. We always mix it up. It's very high energy. So do check it out. I'll put some links to all of this stuff in the show notes, but everything's on my website as well, lashmarcreative.com. So I think that'll do us. Stay lucky.